Hello students, in the previous session we have learned about completely a picture of plane mirrors and reflection of plane mirrors. So today we try to learn about spherical mirrors, but unfortunately spherical mirrors in this year exam 2020 to 2021, what are the exams you are going to write, that topic has been deleted. I believe the reflection of light in spherical mirrors NCERT part has been deleted, but still I am going to revise that for the sake of the competitive purpose. So we'll move on that. Correct now? Anyhow, the syllabus will be sent to you, which are the deleted portion and all. Let me start on spherical mirrors. Spherical mirrors means the heading comes as reflection in spherical mirrors, because mirrors always have the ability to reflect the rays. Correct now? We have studied that. Reflection in spherical mirrors. So, when I say reflection in spherical mirrors means what? Let me draw two spheres. Having radius r. This is the center of a sphere having radius r. If I take one aperture of this circle such that I will consider one aperture of the circle such that I will polish inside this sphere. If I polish inside this sphere, backside will be silver coating will be happening backside. So this part will be, what is that, polished inside. So when it is polished inside, this type of mirror we call it as what? Concave mirror. Here I will take one aperture of the circle. I am using the word aperture. Aperture refers to this surface area available for reflection of the light. Surface area available, which depends on the diameter of the spherical mirror. If diameter is more, area means this aperture line will be space available for reflection of rays. Correct now? So here that is different aperture. Here aperture, this is the aperture. How much how much part of the circle I am taking, that leads to aperture. So see here if I do polishing towards the outer surface, so this will act like a reflective surface. This type of mirrors we call convex mirrors. Some of the terms connected, as already you know, just I will discuss very fast on this. Some of the term connected with this spherical mirrors is, first point, here pole, P is the pole. Pole is the point where it is the midpoint of the mirror, which divides mirror into 2 points. Then we have C. What is C if you ask me? C is the center of the curvature of this mirror. This is curvature of this is a curvature part. This is a curvature of the circle. So center of this curvature is nothing but C. So this is the center of curvature of this mirror. Another word we have, what is that? Line joining the center of curvature and pole is principal axis. The line joining the pole and center of curvature we call principal axis. This is also principal axis. Correct now? If I take one ray, think that two parallel rays I am going to take. Now these parallel rays are going to coincide at a point. Two parallel rays are going to coincide at a point. Parallel rays, I am talking about parallel rays. That point is called focus point. Focus point of the mirror. Correct? Here also two rays I am taking, which are parallel to what? Parallel to what? Parallel to principal axis. These two rays are parallel to principal axis. They all coincide at a point on the principal axis, which I call it as a focus. Same thing here. Here obviously the rays will reflect outside. Why it reflects outside? If you draw one normal line, it has to obey laws of reflection. If I draw one normal line at this point where the incident ray is getting towards to that point, it will obey what is that laws of reflection. So if I extend this line in a backward direction, it is both these two lines are going to meet at a point on the principal axis. This point we call again focus. So this is some of the terms. Still many more terms are there. What is that? Radius of curvature. What is that? Radius of curvature. Radius of curvature is the distance of the pole to the center of curvature is called radius of curvature. Here this is the point, just draw one line. This is the point, center of curvature, draw one line. This distance is called radius of curvature. This is the radius. That is what I am writing. Along the principal axis I am writing. This is also radius r only. This r and this r are same. You might have known that. Correct? Another word we have. What is that? Small f. Small f. Small f is the focal length. Focal length is the distance from the focus point to pole. Here focal length we have. The distance from the pole to the focus point is, the distance from the pole to the focus point is, I write it as f. I write it as f, small f, which we call pole. These are some of the terms connected to the spherical mirrors. These are some of the terms connected to the spherical mirrors. Let us learn sign conventions. Once you have learned sign conventions, you have not learned, we are going to learn sign conventions. Let me take two mirrors, then I shall put sign conventions here. One I will take concave mirror, another I will take convex mirror. Got it up? One principal axis, pole, principal axis, pole. What is this mirror? Concave mirror. Convex mirror. Focus point, center of curvature. Got it now? Focus point, center of curvature. We know. Let us take one object. This is AB object. A dash, B dash, one image of this object. Here A dash, double dash. This is another image. Whatever may be. What is this? This is object. This is image. And this is image. Now sign conventions. What is that sign conventions? Draw one x-axis, y-axis and x-axis. X-axis is on the principal axis. This is x. This is minus x. This has to be y. This has to be minus y. Such that origin of this axis stays at the pole of this mirror. Same thing. I will draw one axis such that x and minus x. This is y. This is minus y. Such that the origin placed at pole of the mirror. The origin is placed at pole of the mirror. Whatever the left region you measure, it will be negative. Negative. Whatever the left side you measure the distance, it will be negative. Whatever the right side you measure from the pole, that direction will be positive. Whatever the direction, whatever the things you measure along y-axis, it will be positive. Whatever the things you measure downward direction, distances I am talking, it will be negative. Same thing here. Here positive distance, negative distance. Here let me take one object. Let us take one image. A dash, B dash. What do you know? Now see here, if I take HO as the height of the object, this has to be plus because the distance from the pole is acting upward. If I take height as HI, it has to be negative here because the height of this image is what? The height of this, let me rub this I. This is the image A dash B dash. The height of this image is minus HI. Correct now? Whatever the distance, this will be. Then another thing, distance from the pole to the center of curvature. Distance from the pole to the center of curvature. What is the distance from pole to the center of curvature? It will be minus R. Because the distance I am measuring from the pole towards left side. If you ask me what is the focal length, it will be minus F for the concave mirror. Because the distance I am measuring from the left hand side. And what is this is object distance. What will be object distance? Minus U. If I extend this line, this line, the distance of this image to the pole is image distance, which also will be negative. And here another image is there. This is another image of the object. Here the distance is towards positive x-axis. So object distance will be positive. Here image distance will be positive. Here image distance will be negative. So this is the outline. Here also same thing. If image is formed here, height of the object, let us take positive. Height of the, it will be positive. Height of the image is also positive here. Here if you take height of the image, again it is positive only because it is the distance from the pole towards positive axis. I am measuring the height. If you are measuring the distance, what is that? This distance is what? Plus F. Focal length is plus here. This distance from the pole to the center of curvature, this is plus R for convex mirror. Then we have, what is that? Object distance. Object distance is negative because I am measuring towards the negative side. This is the sign conventions which I am putting, and I am telling you this. What is that? First point, in whichever direction the light is entering, that direction side will be positive. See, I am considering this direction, so this side is positive. Incident ray, in the direction of incident ray, I will take a sign convention as positive side, that is. Correct now? Now light is coming this side means, if I take a light this direction means, I am taking this side as positive side. Here also light I am taking, this is the first point. The first point is what? Wherever the light is getting incident through the mirror, in that direction we must consider it as a positive side. That is very important, first point. So second point, from the pole, whatever the distance you measure towards left side, that will be negative. Whatever the distance you measure toward right side, that will be positive. First point of the convention, light travels from the left side to right side. So this is one point, light is traveling from left side to right side. So whatever the side the light is traveling to enter the mirror, that side we will take it as a positive. This is the basic sign convention which you are taking. Correct now? First sign convention. Light is coming towards the left side to right side. That is the general standard sign convention. So whichever direction light is entering, that side we will consider it as a positive value most of the time. This is a convention. Second, right side whatever center pole as the origin we will consider. Third point, pole as the origin we will consider, and right side whatever you measure we will take it as a positive distance. Left side whatever you measure we will consider it as a negative distance. Upside of this pole whatever you measure we will take it as a positive distance. Downside whatever you measure we will consider it as a negative distance. This is some of the sign conventions which are happening in the spherical mirrors. Correct now? Next we will take, what is that? Rules for diagram series. What are the rules we must maintain for this? What are the rules for diagram in spherical mirrors only I am talking? The spherical mirrors will follow certain rules. What is that? Let's see. After this rule, another assumption I am going to tell you. What are these are the basic things which you are going to generally make. Okay? If I take one concave mirror, let's say this is focus, this is center of curvature. I will take one object AB. Correct? I am taking only the example of concave mirror. What are the rules? First rule: if a light ray travels parallel to this principal axis, that reflected ray has to pass through focus point. This is first rule. Ray diagrams. Rule for ray diagrams in spherical mirrors: if ray is parallel to this principal axis, it has to pass through focus point. If a ray is passing through the focus point, it must travel parallel to the principal axis. Are you understanding? If a ray is passing through the focus point, it has to travel parallel to the principal axis. Correct now? This is another incident ray. If one ray passes through the pole, if I say this is angle theta, it will reflect back with the same theta angle. It is going to reflect back with the same theta angle. And this is the point, this is the extended object. In this extended object, I am considering one point. From this point, what are the light rays are coming, I am analyzing that. That is what I am talking. Like this analyzation will happen at every point from A to B. Are you understanding? From A to B. This is what the ray optics assumptions which I make. Correct? Now see here. Next, another ray. If a ray passes through center of curvature, it will reflect back in the same direction. Because any light passing through center of curvature, this will be perpendicular line, so it will reflect back with the same direction. Anyhow, actually the diagram doesn't look proper. This line has to pass through this point actually. The center of curvature is there, no? This line has to pass through this. Let me take here. Because the image formation is happening here of point A as A dash, this will be B dash. So all the points reflected ray has to coincide here. What type of image it is? It is real image I can say, because actual reflected rays are coinciding there. Got it now? Actual reflected rays are coinciding there. So let us take one ray passing through center of curvature and passes through this focus point, and it is going to reflect. These are the 4 rules in the ray diagrams which I am going to follow right now. These are the 4 rules in the diagram which I am going to follow. Then another thing you must know. Paraxial rays and its approximation. What is this paraxial ray and its approximation? Means whatever the things we are deriving in the ray optics, we are taking certain assumptions. Got it now? In that, always whatever the formulas I am going to derive, like mirror formula, any relation between focal length and radius of curvature, any formula which I am deriving at the intermediate level, whatever the things are there in the ray optics chapter, we will make this approximation. What is that approximation? Means either it's a lens or it's a mirror. We will consider paraxial rays. Then what is paraxial rays? The question arises in your mind. Correct now? Suppose, see here, if I take one concave mirror, let's say this is principal axis, this is pole, let's say this is focus point. Got it now? This is focus point. Now see that one ray parallel coming, at the edges. Correct, no? Let's say one ray coming at the edges, one ray coming near to the. Let us not take focus here. Think that one ray is coming at the edges, one ray coming at the principal axis. Got it? Now what I am doing, in between them many rays are there. Just I am considering two rays. The rays which are near to the paraxial axis, the rays which are at the edges of the mirror. Now you can see exactly what happens is here. The rays which are edges, we call it as marginal rays. Got it? The rays which are near to the principal axis, we call it as paraxial rays. Are you understanding? Now, what exactly in reality happens is, if this is a spherical mirror, in reality, there are two focus points which are going to form. There are two focus points which are going to form. One due to marginal rays which are at the edges of the concave mirror, they are going to form, what is that? Let us take principal axis. This is one ray, this is another ray, this is another ray at the edges. So this is paraxial rays, I told you. Paraxial ray. Now the rays which are at the edges, let's say they are meeting at this point. Got it? This point I call it as Fm. This point I call it as Fm. The rays which are nearer to the paraxial rays, that means the rays which are near to the principal axis, those are rays are called paraxial rays. They are going to meet somewhere at this point. When they are going to meet somewhere at this point, this is, let us call Fm. This is what is that? P. So what I am trying to tell you? In reality, if you take a spherical mirror, the rays which are at the edges of the concave mirror are called marginal rays. They will produce the focus point at this point. The rays which are near to the principal axis, those are called principal, paraxial rays. They are going to produce a focus point here. So this focus point is called paraxial focus point. Paraxial focus point. And this point I call, Fm I call marginal focus point. What is that? Marginal focus point. So now what I am trying to tell you is, this focus point. Now generally what we are doing, we are considering one focus point. So any mirrors which you are studying, what you will make assumptions is, the rays are paraxial rays assumption you will make. When you make the rays are paraxial rays, you will not worry about these things. Correct? When you are not worrying about these things, if you look at the diagram, certain things have been changed. Correct? If you look at the diagram, certain things have been changed. What are the things have been changed? Let me explain. Aperture becomes small. Correct? Aperture became small. Then this angle, if you see, the angle between this paraxial rays and this principal axis is less. Angle of incidence will be less. Angle of reflection will be less. And only one focus point is there. What is that focus point? Paraxial focus point. Correct? No? These all assumptions will happen because if I consider only paraxial rays. So then what is paraxial rays if you ask me? Paraxial rays. A ray is said to be paraxial rays if angle theta, let's take angle theta between angle theta, where theta is between where? Theta is between the ray and principal axis is small. That is, theta is less than 10. The angle between the parallel ray and principal axis must be, if you take the angle between them, it must be less than 10 degree. When the angle between them is 10 degree, 100% angle of incidence will be less, angle of reflection will be less. Correct? When I take parallel rays, 100% I must take a lens which is having less aperture. These assumptions will happen if I consider only parallel rays. So when this happens, when theta is less, in the derivations we will consider this, where cos theta will be nearly equal to 1, sin theta will become nearly equal to theta, and tan theta will become nearly equal to theta. So this approximation we can make in ray optics when we take consideration of parallel rays. Mirror formula you have studied, the basic formula, mirror formula. With this assumption only that mirror formula can be derived. Anything in the coming days, ray optics, always I consider parallel rays. That means aperture will be small, angle between this will be nearly parallel to this, which means that angle of incidence and angle of reflected rays will be very less. That thing you have to remember. When that it happens, and at a given certain situations, you will understand and you will come to know that these values will become 1. This can be taken as theta approximation. This can be taken as theta. This is about parallel rays. Got it? Now? So we will move on. Relation for spherical mirrors. Relation for spherical mirrors. Certain relations can be given for spherical mirrors. Let us go through that relations. First we shall take the relation between focal length and radius of a curvature of mirror. There is one relation which happens here. What is that? Relation between focal length and radius of a curvature of a mirror. While deriving this, always I will make an assumption. Assumptions we know. What are the assumptions? All rays are parallel. Second one, angle of incidence or aperture of mirror taken is small. Aperture of mirror is small. Got it? So here I will make a diagram. Let us consider one concave. Even you can derive for convex mirror also. Not only applied for concave mirror, you can derive for convex mirror also. Let us take one point. This is the point focus. This is the point center of curvature. Where this is the focal length, this has to be R. Correct now? Think that one ray is falling at a point A. All the rays I am assuming are parallel rays, which are told, and this ray will pass through focus point. If I draw one normal line, that normal line has to pass center of curvature. Correct now? Because perpendicular line to this aperture. If I take this is angle R, this is reflection, this will become R, or I can take this also will become I, and this angle will become 2I. Yes or no? Because alternate angles, this is parallel to this line, so this is 2I, this will become 2I. From the triangle, I will assume here this as M, such that first AM is nearly equal to AP because the aperture is small. AM is nearly equal to AP. This is first assumption. From triangle AFM and if this is angle I, This also angle I becomes shear. From triangle AFM and ACM, and ACM, I can write from AFM, what is that? 2I is equal to AM divided by 2I is equal to actually what? Tan 2I. I can write tan 2I is equal to AM divided by FM, and tan I is equal to AM divided by CM. Since angles are small, which I am assuming angles are small here, I can write 2I, because angles are small, tan theta will become theta. I told you in approximation, parallel approximation. 2I will become AM divided by FM, and I will become AM divided by CM. Got it now? So what is AM by FM? AM by FM means if I divide them 2I by I, what are the things will get cancelled? AM and AM is getting cancelled. I will get equation as CM divided by FM. What is the CM? What is FM? By applying even sign convention, I gets cancelled. On sign conventions, I can write, what is that? 2 is equal to CM by FM. What is that CM? CM is minus R, FM is minus F. So the result will become what? F is equal to R. The focal length is half of the radius of the curvature. This is not only applied for concave mirror, it is also applied for convex mirror. For any spherical mirror, when you take an assumption of tangential rays, focal length of a spherical mirror will be half of the radius of curvature. This point you have to keep in mind. Then we have another equation called mirror equation. Fortunately, this time it was one of the important questions for board exam. This topic has been removed from board exam. Still, I am teaching because of competitive purpose. So, I will be taking in a very shortcut manner. Let us consider same assumptions I will take. What are the assumptions? Aperture of the mirror has to be small and the rays has to be parallel. With these two assumptions I am doing. That's why first only I have given those assumptions. Let us take one concave mirror. This is the center of curvature. Let us take one point object such that it will get incident. Think that another ray will pass like this to the pole and it will come back. I will draw one line. Let us take this point as M, where let us take this point as A. AM is first thing. AM is nearly equal to AP because curvature is small. This is what assumption I will make. This ray is reflected back. Image has formed at this point because another ray went like this and it came back. So the one reflected ray, another reflected ray are meeting at a point where image is formed. So see, let us take this angle. I will draw one normal line here. Let us take this is angle I, this angle is R, such that this angle will become what? Nothing. This is alpha. Let us take this angle as alpha. This angle is beta and this angle is gamma. This is angle I, this is angle R. With the principal axis object line it is making alpha angle. This normal line with the principal axis making beta angle. With the reflected ray making angle with the principal axis is gamma angle. If you observe this triangle, which one? Sorry. I said this angle is I. Right, this triangle, sum of two interior angles is exterior angle. So I can write gamma is equal to beta plus r. From this triangle, sum of two interior angles is exterior angle. So the addition of these two angles is how much? Gamma. So gamma is equal to beta plus r. This is I, this is r, this is r, this is beta, this angle is beta, this is gamma. So alpha is equal to beta plus r. And second thing, you can see from this triangle, sum of two interior angles is exterior angle. So I can write, let me write this, I can write beta, this I can write gamma minus beta. Let us take equation 1. Let us find angle of incidence. From this triangle, what I said, sum of two interior angle is exterior angle. Beta is equal to I plus alpha. I can write, what is that? I is equal to beta minus alpha. Let us take this equation as 2. Since I is equal to r, equation 1 and 2 will become what? Beta minus alpha will be equal to alpha. What is that? Gamma minus beta. So I can write this one as 2 beta is equal to alpha plus gamma. Correct, no? Or else I can write, what is that? Tan 2 beta, or you can write 2 into tan beta will be equal to tan alpha plus tan gamma. Why I am writing like this? Because alpha can be written as beta, very angles are small. That is what the approximation. See from this triangle, tan beta means, if I take this as, let's say, from the pole this is r, from the image let's say this is v, and from the object let's say from the pole this distance is u. So here I can write this equation. What is that? Tan beta. Tan beta means from this triangle, if you see from this triangle, AM by CM, 2 into AM by CM will be equal to tan alpha means OM by AM by OM. So here AM by OM plus tan gamma means this also makes a right angle triangle. It will become what? AM by IM. Correct, no? AM by IM. Here AM gets cancelled. 2 by C will be equal to 1 by OM plus 1 by IM. 1 by IM. Now this one I am going to rub. You can see here, what is that? So on applying sign convention, 2 by Cm, what is Cm? R. You can write 2 by R. What is 1 by OM? 1 by OM means object distance, 1 by U plus 1 by V. Negative sign because all of them are forming at this side. Correct, no? So minus 1 by 2 by minus R, 1 by minus U divided by 1 by minus V will become 2 by R. What is the value of 2 by R? From the previous derivation, 2 by R is nothing but 1 by F. Here it will become 1 by U plus 1 by. This is very important formula for solving numericals in mirror equation. This mirror equation exists because we are considering only paraxial rays. That is more important to remember. Got it now? Okay.